You had mentioned authentic. To be authentic as a brand across channels and understand how to parse your brand personality across all of these different channels and all these different media, it's a challenge to say the least when they have a multitude oftentimes of product and service offerings. I see a lot of companies sort of almost divesting a brand and turning it into its own entity, instead of being so conglomerate in their approach. It seems like that's the only way you're going to be authentic online.
I think you have gone from a period in which you can have one brand voice and personality and obsess over that because you've got one channel that you primarily use to communicate, and that was TV commercials, right? That was a manageable situation. Well, now that environment has completely diffused out to multiple channels, across multiple devices. And each of those channels has its own type of consumer that uses that channel, and they need to be spoken to in a different way. You really have to think about, what am I going to sound like on Facebook as opposed to what am I going to sound like on Snapchat? How am I going to interact there and talk to people so that I relate to them? Because that conversation is going to be a very different sounding conversation than what you have on your website copy. The luxury of having just one voice and one approach is going away. And with that kind of fractured environment, it's presented a problem, a real issue in how do they scale their communications. That has become a much, much heavier lift.